Hey guys, welcome back to Puck Talk. Today we will be discussing the O'Reilly trade and how he has impacted the Leafs. I'm here with Sahil and Mark, so let's get right into it. What do you guys think? First impressions of the deal.
I thought it was. I'm a Tampa fan, so it made me scared. So that means good trade for Leafs, I think. And I think they got him for relatively cheap, in my opinion, at
He's
least.
also having a down year, so I can see why he wasn't super expensive. Like I can see why Kane would be like Kane was rumored to go to was a rumored Leafs player trade target as well, and just off of name value, I think they got off pretty well, just especially since they got quite a good defensive center.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
they're hoping that they'll go back to a Selkie form, which I could see happening. It's his contract year too. He's probably gonna try harder than he usually does. I think if he
Definitely, yeah.
does, if he does return to his form, a center core of Matthews, Tavares, and O'Reilly is kind of deadly. That's terrifying to play against. I think the Leafs did a good job on this trade.
I think that this is a really good move by the Leafs as well. Like just in general, we knew that O'Reilly's time in the St. Louis was gonna be gone, and I'm glad that it's on a good team.
Yeah, so I guess like a lot of the years the complaints have been for the Leafs and Dubas's Leafs that they're too soft, they're not gritty enough. Well, Dubas directly addressed that with this trade. Like he got that one of the most well-known like gritty defensively strong centers in the league, and I think he did a good job. I don't think he didn't give up any roster players. He didn't give up one of the Leafs prospects like Niemela or Nyes. And while this draft may be deep, the Wild may get a good player. No, the Wild, the Blues may get a good player, but yeah, I think with what with the cards he had dealt, the writing is on the wall. Like either he makes this move or he goes in the playoffs without any moves. And if he's not successful in the playoffs, then uh, he's done for. He's not getting extended.
Yeah, I think what you said is right. If you lost, if they lose in the first round again, they're done. So like even if they do end up losing, it's not Dubas's problem anymore. The picks that are
Yeah.
gone. It's kind of just next GM's problem. So I think he was very confident in this move in a way.
Also, like yeah, he did like if he did nothing and they lost, like you could have placed some blame on him that he
Yeah.
was sitting complacent. He didn't get any pieces. Like last deadline, Leafs deadline was pretty quiet. They got Giordano, but that's it. Like no offensive help. And
Yeah.
this year they got and traded for one of the big fish on the market. So good on him.
Yeah, I don't know how it addresses their needs though. I know their needs with the left wing or maybe a defenseman, and I don't think it really addresses any of that. Well, you're a Leafs fan. What do you think about that?
I think their needs most like they just needed a forward. I don't think they needed a positionally strong player. Like they need depth at forward because unfortunately the Leafs bottom six has been quite mediocre at best. At best it's mediocre, at worst it can be game-endingly bad. So yeah, they got that. They fixed their top six. Last game they played in Montreal, the bottom six actually had more shots than the top six. It's because Cali Yarncroke and Kerfoot weren't being forced into those top six roles, which eventually hindered them. So the bottom six actually got their players back and they performed quite well. So I think that's why that move was made. Now I'm interested to see how Sheldon Keefe manages his lines because he's got three good centers, three good face-off centers to play, and one of them obviously will have to move to the wing.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, I'd like to say that good on the Blues for like committing to a rebuild at the perfect time. I know a lot of teams would just try to run it back next year, that kind of thing. It's good that Leafs, sorry, I mean the Blues decided to trade Tarasenko and now O'Reilly and got pretty good returns for them. I just have to give
Honestly, though, in my opinion, I think they were kind of forced into this rebuild because while O'Reilly was willing to resign with the St. Louis Blues, I don't think Tarasenko would have stayed. Like, I think
yeah,
he would have been gone. So, I guess they knew that if one was gone, the other would be pointless in keeping. So they just decided, hey, it's time to go. I heard now Colton Parayko is also
oh yeah,
garnering some trade talks. So we gotta watch out for that as well.
yeah. Overall, I think the Leafs did good on this trade, and the Blues also did very good, considering they got more for O'Reilly than they got for Tarasenko, which is
Yeah.
impressive. So yeah, I think
Just
both teams really won this trade, and I'm scared of the Leafs in the playoffs.
well, we don't know that yet. You don't have to be scared right now, but maybe.
Well, this
see.
is just an overall upgrade for the offense and for
Yeah.
partially the defense as well. So like, who knows? It could like Ryan O'Reilly could just be a really big difference maker coming into the playoffs if he also goes back into form.
Yeah.
You know, I read this really cool stat that the Leafs top six in game sevens in the past three game sevens has not scored a goal or something like that.
Holy.
In the past,
What a stat line.
so in the past three game sevens, your best forward's not scoring a goal. That's alarming to say the least. Like especially in Tampa, like Morgan Riley was the guy who had to score that goal, and Nick Paul came back right away. We don't talk about that, but anyways, the top six really needed that shakeup, I think. Like, and Ryan O'Reilly had 12 points in last year's 12 playoff games he had with St. Louis. So I think he hasn't lost it. Like you don't lose that in 1 year.
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think he can still produce pretty well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially with like he played some good competition. He played Colorado too, and they almost came back in that series. If Bennington did not get injured, then I
Yeah.
think they would have brought that to 7 and might have upset the Avs. But like yeah, Ryan O'Reilly still has that like spark, and I think he can get this team motivated to do it, to do
Yeah, I
something.
think I read somewhere that O'Reilly's like on one of the charts. O'Reilly's like the unluckiest player in the NHL, or one of the unluckiest players
Yeah, like
in terms of
yeah,
finishing.
it's just he's just not going. It's just not going his way, and
Yeah.
you can see why because St. Louis is not a really good team.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
like that can turn around really quickly if you're just
yeah,
based off luck, you know?
yeah, and I choose not to read into these first few games because Ryan O'Reilly just got off the plane, like he played the game, and then um he flew to Montreal. Oh no, he flew to Toronto to play against Montreal, and then back to back right against Chicago. So I don't think it's a fair analysis to judge him off of these just two games yet, but like moving on, I think we can see what type of player he really is once Keith figures out the lines combinations and what like where he can place his players.
Yeah. I think this will give Keith a lot of help. I read like the quote where he couldn't sleep all night because
Yeah.
he was excited. This is like a coach's dream, you know? Get three
Uh
elite winners.
yeah. I mean honestly, me too, man. Like imagine like I think yeah, like imagining all the possibilities they are quite endless. Like somebody has to move on the wing, but like there are a lot of players on the Leafs. Like Matthews could flourish on the wing. Like you were telling me the other day that Stamkos moved onto the wing and he played like pretty well. So
Yeah.
I mean, like we could go for something like that. Like it's never bad, never too bad to have like a lot of forward depth.
I think there's no wrong answer for the Leafs
Yeah.
top six at the moment, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess if there's nothing else to add, that pretty much does it, unless you guys have anything you guys want to say at the end.
Dubas did say he was not done. So
Oh,
maybe
okay.
yeah. He
You
said
think
that
he's looking for any specific player right now, or what do you think?
Timo Meyer.
I don't think they
Get
have
all of
like
them.
they don't have a first round pick anymore. So I don't
Yeah,
think
that doesn't make sense.
Timo Meyer's in the picture. Like I think Patrick Kane is out, but maybe like someone like McCabe,
Yeah.
who's
I
like
think
a
that's
defense, some sort of defenseman. Like McCabe is a good defenseman on a bad Chicago team, so I think maybe he's looking at that because I don't think right now it makes sense to go for another forward. Where would you put
yeah.
him? Like
I don't
top
think you can
six?
afford them right now either.
Yeah. So McCabe, somebody like McCabe. There's also Lafferty or Barbashev. So another Blues player. I also really like the Nola Chari acquisition. Actually, I forgot to mention this one. That was a really really good acquisition. Like a throw in. It seems like a throw in, but Achari, he's like a good player. I think, in my opinion, like he will be like a good piece on the Leafs like bottom six.
He's
That's what I
the
forgot to mention.
he's the type of player you want on your fourth line in the playoffs,
Yeah,
you know? He's got the
yeah.
grit.
Like he beat the Leafs in the 2018 playoffs, then the 2019 playoffs. So he went to the finals, so he knows what it takes to win those series. And I'm really excited for these guys to go crazy, like start scoring, start defending better. All the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that does it for this episode. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you guys for watching.
Let's see you next week.